the other thing is that often, sometimes, if I want to understand more about something, I need to say I need to get away from the idea of saying I don't agree with that. I need to actually say, now I wonder why Jerry would think that. I mean, does he actually have some real basis on which to believe that? Is there something that he could tell me that I maybe don't know already? That's the idea of being curious and open to the perspectives of others. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with them. It doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, well, goodness me, that's the one I should be believing in. It doesn't mean that at all. It actually means that you should just be aware of and try to understand what it is, the reasons that they have it. Do you think it'd be useful for us to be curious today about the topic of climate change adaptation and what people think about it? Yeah? What do you think, folks? I need a few nods or a few yeses or something, or no's if it's no's. Yep, I can hear a few up the front here. What about down the back here? Yep. Yes? Okay, so shall we leave that one in? Is there anyone who'd have trouble with it if we did? Okay, terrific. Okay, share the reasons for your questions and comments. Sometimes you might hear me ask a question and you might think to yourself, well, you know, what would Jerry know? He's always lived in town all his life. I mean, you know, that's all he ever thinks about is the people in town. So, and maybe if you frame that first, without me saying to you that I actually have a brother who did something, you know, and he needed to know this piece of information, I'll give you a little bit of context around it. So it helps the person who's being asked the question to understand more of what it is that you're trying to say. So share the reasons for your questions and comments if we need to. It won't always need to be done, but that's something we could do as well. What do you think of that one?
I think you start a fight.
Hey?
Start a fight.
No, I wasn't actually thinking of that, Errol, at all. So do you think that would be something useful that we could do as well? Like if people need to understand where the question's coming from, we can talk about that. Is that all right? Okay, thank you. So that's the next one. I've got two more. One is focus on, the first of those last two is focus on needs and interests rather than solutions. Do you know, sometimes I know the answer to the most difficult questions that are around. You could just ask me and I could tell you the answer. I've got the solutions for them. But do you know what? I'm not always right. And so sometimes I need to hear what other people are saying, and when I want to solve a problem, it's handy if they know what my needs are and also what my interests are. Why am I interested in the topic and what my needs are? I need to be able to make a living from this. I need to be able to educate my family. I need to be able to demonstrate my worth through the skills that I have. So at times we normally use this one in planning more, but sometimes it might come up for us today. I'm going to ask us also that we think about the idea of focus on needs and interests rather than solutions here, if that's a topic that comes up. Is that something else we could also use today? Is that all right? Anyone have troubles with that? Because these ones, now that you've agreed to them, I'm actually going to keep an eye on these. And so if they're not happening, I'll be actually pursuing them if we need to. Now, we don't always need these. These are only when we need to. So if you can't agree to it, it's important that you tell me. Come on in. Now, the next one is wait for the mic before speaking. So we've got a couple of microphones. You'll hear the air conditioners. You'll hear the people who are here. Colleen and Sue will be taking those around. We're going to ask you to wait for the mic. Okay? And then lastly, relax and enjoy yourself. Today is meant to be dealing with important topics. Today is around the idea that you and the people who've come with the information you can hear what they have to say and then you can interact with them. It's important. There's no question about that. The idea is, though, that to be involved and in a learning mode, it'll be handy if you can be relaxed and look to enjoy the sessions as they go along. So can we do the last one as well? Okay. Now, I know that sometimes there's people like to have another piece that they might add, and you'll see that I've left a space. Is there anyone who has another communication guideline that they think would be useful for us to have today? Okay, well I'll put it up there and I'll ask them. So how's that? So the suggestion from Bill is that we have phones off. Is that something that people would agree to? That's what I'm asking you now. Is that what you want to have? Yep, okay, so that's in as well. So all of those are in. Anything else? Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to set these off to the side here so that we can all see them. And we all have the opportunity to use these. However, I guess that most of it will fall to me to keep an eye on them mainly. But if you think we are outside some of our communication guidelines at any stage, it's most important that you tell me. It is most important that you tell me about it and that we get back on track using our communication guidelines. So, we've done all the preliminary things that we need to do. We can now start the forum.